Okay, so the whole deal that's going on with Jimmy, that's been going on. Backtracking a little bit, AD, he had a whole bunch of tattoos. This dude had been getting tatted up a lot, in and out of prison. I think a lot of them were most of it was in prison. I'm not 100% sure. But he'd gotten some, and there was some that he'd gotten that were, let's say, questionable, and not in the regards to what they were content-wise, but because of the material used to do them. And he thinks that the dude had gotten some kind of tampered or tainted ink. So, not good, not sanitary. So the thing was infected, it was nasty. After a while, Jay was just like, dude, we gotta lance this thing. And he went and pierced it and went to the bathroom, the toilet, and just started, it's just this yellow, green, just pus, just nasty looking shit. He had gone to the doctor before and he'd gotten it tested, and it came back as human or animal fecal matter, and so it just was dirty ink, and it was getting infected, it was nasty, and he was trying to get it treated. So while that's going on, Jay's taken out of the cell because he had gotten into his fight, and then AD is dealing with his medical stuff. So right when Jay's taken out, we get a new cellie, and this new cellie, he is, we'll call him SK, and SK is, oh Jesus, when he comes in, I'm asleep, and I wake up, but I don't, get up, so I just kind of play asleep, and he's talking to A2, and he ends up knowing A2 from the streets, and, A2, he asked about me, SK asked about me, he's like, hey man, is this guy cool? SK's a white dude, and A2 instantly starts getting defensive, like, yeah dude, he's fucking cool, he's a good dude, he's cool, he's talking about me. So, we transpire on, we progress on, and, I meet SK, he's kind of a twitchy dude, he's a 43-year-old man, he's weird, you get a weird vibe from him. He's trying to stay clean. He just came from Max. This man has stories for days, and a lot of it is bullshit. And your bullshit detector goes off with this guy, and you can just kind of tell, and you're just like, these stories don't add up. He tells all kinds of stories that he used to tell about how he would train the cartels on how to catch human traffickers, because human traffickers are bad dudes. What the fuck do you think cartels are doing? His stories do not make sense. He said that he robbed some guys. He never robbed anybody that didn't deserve it, because he only robbed from drug dealers and traffickers. And he robbed this torture jewelry. I'd never heard of torture jewelry. I don't know what the fuck torture jewelry is. I'm thinking, okay, jewelry that is maybe designed for torturing people. Maybe gauges, maybe like, the hooks whenever people would hang themselves with like piercings and stuff. Something maybe along those lines. I don't know. No, he was talking about jewelry that was obtained or paid by for torturing people. It was fucking weird. And it was always like $45,000. He had $45,000 in torture jewelry, and he stole it, and he just gives it all away. He stole this heroin from this dealer one time because this guy was just so bad, and he sold $45,000 worth of heroin and just gave it back and just gave it out to people. He was this magnanimous, just altruistic, giving, great human being that was this Robin Hood self-fulfilling prophecy of being the good guy. This guy had a lot of fucking demons. And he had been clean the first week, and he noticed that I wasn't doing anything. He's like, how do you do it, man? What do you do? I was just like, you just have the willpower, and you say fucking no. Like, meth is not the dude. That's not the drug. That dude, everybody in prison does meth. Everyone does meth. All of you motherfuckers do it. Yes, you do. About 98% of you motherfuckers in there do meth. Yes, you do. Do it any kind of way. You shoot it, snort it, eat it, smoke it, fucking boof it, whatever the fuck you're doing, man. They are doing meth in prison, non-stop. So he gets on, when he does, and they also do this drug called Deuce, which is K2. They call it Deuce, which is worse than fucking meth, but I don't know if it was Deuce or fentanyl they were putting on the paper. Either way, meth would chill SK out. He wouldn't be nearly as bad. But when he did Deuce, this motherfucker would stay up. I shit you not. He talked for 6 hours straight, non-stop. Would not shut the fuck up. He started at 8 p.m. and did not shut up until 2 a.m. 6 solid fucking hours of this motherfucker just jammering on about nonsense. Talking about how he wants to teach A2 certain wrestling moves. Talking about how he rip off cartels. Talking about how he's a lesbian in a man's body. How women always paid him for sex because he had that good dick. It was anything and every kind of bullshit story you could think of. This motherfucker had a story about it. And he'd one up every single thing you had. It was insane. He had horrible self-esteem. He would bitch and complain whenever we would get on to him and tell him to shut the fuck up. And he'd say, "You guys just hurt my feelings, but you really hurt my feelings." He would complain about us hurting his feelings. Grown fucking man, mind you, in prison, complaining about other grown men, prisoners, hurting his feelings. Grow the fuck up, you little fucking pussy. So, in the meantime, AD finally gets taken out on medical quarantine because he is, he's just, his leg is so bad from the tattoo. He gets taken out, and we get a new cellie. This cellie, he's Big O. I'll call him because that motherfucker stands on his own. I know he won't give a shit. He's cool as fuck. He comes in, big old Indian dude, and cool as shit. Very fucking cool. And he had done a long time. He said he'd done like 26 years in prison. And because I remember 26 for him because he was a tattoo artist, and he said, I went to art school for 26 years. And I'm like, no. He's talking about he'd been in prison doing prison tattoos, doing that kind of work for 26 years. He came in. He tried to be kind of like a mentor, role model type figure for SK. He was just too fucking all over the place. SK wanted, how you had those white dudes that you see that want to be black? This SK was a fucking white dude who just wanted to be Mexican. He wished he was fucking Mexican. And that started causing tension because of my relationship with Mateo and the fact that I would smoke so much, and it pissed SK off that I was in so good with the Mexicans without ever even trying. And it was just by being myself and being a respectable person, taking care of my own fucking business, not causing any drama, not causing any unnecessary issues. And that caused a lot of resentment and envy in SK towards me. Big O, because he would get Indian tobacco, he would throw me some every now and then. And then one time he had brought some back, and I didn't know if it was for Mateo, if it was for me, or what it was. And he'd given me a specific, my own little bit. And SK saw this, and then Big O said something about, something about crackhead smoking, and I was just kind of like, whatever. And he went up and took a nap after he'd come back from one of his Indian call-outs, native call-outs. And he went and took a nap, and we're sitting down, I'm laying down, and I put this tobacco away. SK knows I've got it. He's over there milling about on the toilet. He used to sit in the toilet just all the time, not taking a shit or not doing anything on it, but just tweaking and tampering and messing with stuff, messing with pipes. Always broke a fucking pipe. That's another issue. And so I'm laying down, and he's like, hey, he finally starts like, Eric, man, bro, you need to break out, bro. Break out one of them cigarettes, man, so we can smoke. I don't share my shit. I do not. And that was well known. Everybody knew Eric did not share. But that also meant Eric didn't jump in on y'all's circles. I didn't take freebie hits. I didn't do none of that shit. And when I was smoking, if you ask me, the answer was fucking no. My commissary, my food, I did not share because it causes too many issues. And I let everybody know straight up, I don't do that shit. If you give me something that is on your own free will, and you do not accept reciprocation from me. I made that very clear, and I set that boundary for everybody. They knew that about Eric in prison. Eric does not fucking share. Sky decided he was going to be, all right, Eric needs to break out now. And I'm like, dude, that's not my tobacco. I can't do that. And he was like, man, you need to. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. And I said, Big O said, no. I was like, this is not my tobacco to do that shit with. I can't do that. And Big O wakes up from his nap, and then Sky says, didn't you say that you could give us some of that shit? Like that some of that tobacco was for the crackheads to smoke? And Big O's like, oh yeah, that's what I meant, Eric. I was like, I didn't understand that, Big O. My bad. I misunderstood it. And Sky was like, yeah, man, you always keeping shit, not sharing nothing. And I was like, dude, you cannot leave anything the fuck alone, can you? I mean, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, it's a fucking cigarette. You jam her on non-fucking stop all the fucking time. You're high as shit all the fucking time. It's a fucking cigarette. You weren't getting it this one fucking... I'd had it at this point. I laid it. I'd finally... My temper was done and my patience was done. I let him fucking know I was fucking done. And then I get up. I was like, I'm gonna roll this cigarette. We're gonna smoke it. We're gonna be cool and everything's gonna be fucking fine. So I'm rolling it. And I've got it rolled up. I'm going over to dry it out so it's not as wet for me because I was angry, so it wasn't the best roll. And I'm doing that. I get up from my bunk. Sky goes over, gets up on his bed and lays down. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay, dude, I fucking had this, dude. You see I'm about to light this shit. We're about to smoke. You go over and do this. You complain all the fucking time. You're whining a bitch. You are complaining to grown men, Sky, about us hurting your feelings in prison. You sound like a little bitch. Talking about this kind of shit all the fucking time, running around here like this. Someone in here is going to fuck you up one day. And that triggered him. He took it as I am challenging him. So he perks up from his bed and he's, what the fuck did you say to me, motherfucker? Who the fuck are you? Always talking shit. Who the fuck do you think you're yelling at, motherfucker? Comes down from his bunk, gets in my face. He's in my face. He's spitting hella hard. He's talking hella loud, spitting in my face, and I just stand there, and I'm just he's right here in my face, and I turn slightly so I'm not looking straight at him because I'm just like, I'm about to just fuck this dude up, and he keeps going at it. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of my face, stop. Big O and A2 are sitting there, just watching, just like, what the fuck? We're in our cell, mind you, so ain't shit going on. All right, ain't shit able to get out. You can't just walk away from the situation. You're fucking stuck there. You got to deal with this. There is no be the bigger person, walk away. And he's spitting. I said, quit fucking spitting in my face. Does it one more time. I used to wrestle, and a move that I favored was called the headlock hip toss. And you grab him around the arm, around the neck, and around the shoulder, and then you put your body up underneath them. You leverage them up, and then you flip them. And in doing so, you can kind of drop on them. So I did this, and mid-flight, I've got SK ass up in the air, and he's coming down, and you just hear A2 go, holy shit! This quiet kid, Eric, all of a sudden, Eric just fucking flipped. I lost my shit. Get him down. I land on his ribs. I knock the wind out of him. He's high as shit on meth while this is all going on, so I'm fighting a fucking meth head. Goddamn retard strength, I swear to God. And I've got him locked in. I don't have just his head, and I don't have the best position, so I've got him, and I can't keep moving. I've run out of room, so I got to get up and get position again. So I'm getting up, not letting him get my back. And I get up, and while I'm getting up, I'm trying to not let him get position. We're in socks, and we're on polished concrete, so it's like fighting on ice. You get no grip, no real traction to stand or anything. So we're doing that, and I've slammed him once, and then we're getting back up, and then I get him. I'm on the side, and I get him on the side, and I pick him up again, and I'm like, all right, just drop him on his fucking head. Well, I don't get my head out of the way, so we come down, and he lands on my head. I don't know how well I can describe it right there. That right there. I split my head open, so my head starts leaking, and he's down on the ground. He's a little kind of shaking up a little bit again, and I'm up on side guard on him, and I've got a hand down on him, and then my other hand's kind of trying to get position. And I look down and I see some blood on his face, and I'm like, how the fuck is this motherfucker bleeding? I don't see anything on him. I don't have any cuts. And I see it drop from my forehead, and I'm like, well, that's my blood. Now, mind you, in prison, image is everything. Visual is huge. It's huge. So I'm thinking, he's got to look worse than me. If whatever happens in this, I lose, whatever, he's got to look worse than me, because if we come out of this and I look beat up or anything, you lose reputation, you lose respect, people come after you even more, you become more of a target. So I'm like, all right, this is what we're going to do. So I just grab my hand, I start smearing my blood all over his face. I'm getting in his mouth and his nose, and I'm just like, man, you're going to fucking feel my fury. It's going to look bad, motherfucker. I'm going to make you look fucked up now. My blood is all over. It's dripping out of my head, but it's all over him. And then finally, I get on top of get my arm positioned on his throat, and I've got my forearm on his throat. And while I'm doing that, I start bouncing on it, and I'm letting him kind of like showing him like, dude, I'm about to fucking end your life. I'm about to crush your windpipe. I'm bouncing on it, kind of pushing and pushing, and all of a sudden, it just blurts out and his eyes get big. Get off me! Get off me! Let me go! Get off me, motherfucker! Get off me! And I'm like, you better be fucking done! Throw him to the side. And I kind of sit back a little bit. And he gets up. He starts rubbing his throat. He's all pissed off. He's wiping the blood. And he's kind of coming to and realizing, getting some clarity. And I'm sitting on my heels. And I'm just waiting for him. I'm just kind of... And my next move is like, dude, give me your leg. I'm pushing you into the ladder. I'm going to have to fucking kill you because you're not going to stop. And right then and there, Big O gets up and gets in between us. And he's like, stop, Sky, stop. And he brings Sky to, and Big O had saw it in me. And he was just like, dude, you're done. Stop. And he stopped that whole fight. And we smoke a cigarette that whole time, right after that. Kind of calm everything down. I noticed that my elbow had been split open whenever I threw him that first time. I'd split it down to the bone, so it's bleeding. And I'm just like, God damn it, man. I knew this was going to happen in a fight. I didn't want to get into a fucking fight in prison. And because it's all concrete, all metal, it's going to fucking hurt. Bones are going to get broken. You're going to bleed. It's going to suck. And it did. That man walked differently after I was done with him. He couldn't move pretty much the next week. He stayed up in bed. He'd get up and go to chow, but he wasn't moving very well. All of the cell below us and both beside us heard everything. And they were just like, what the fuck? And they heard it was us, and then they looked at me and they're like, damn, Eric got beat up. And then A2 and Big O were just like, no, dude. And from that point on top of my dealings with Mateo, everybody was just kind of like, Eric is that quiet kid. Just leave him alone. Just leave that quiet dude alone. Ain't gonna be no push. He will handle his own. And that was my fight in prison. I only had to get in one, thank God. But it all over, and it wasn't over a cigarette, but the cigarette was the tipping point, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back of just like, you greedy motherfuckers, stop. And this is what's coming up with society today too. Y'all greedy motherfuckers. It's coming to a head, and it's gonna get violent. And after what I had just done and witnessed there, it gave me a whole new sense of myself of just kind of like, Eric, you are not as timid as you even believe. And it gave me kind of a self-boost and confidence. And from then on, Sky shut the fuck up. He stayed quiet for about 2 weeks, and then he started getting high even more, and his emotions started getting even hurt more. And he's just a big old bitch, and I don't like the dude very much, and but he definitely learned a lesson that day, and I hope he's doing better, but some people, it's just, there's no, you can fix stupid. It's expensive and it's painful. And that man's still got some lessons to learn, so it is what it is. And in between that time, I got a story to tell about Mr. Big O, because before that, a week before that fight had happened, Mr. Big O had hooked me up with some tattoos, and I got to tell you a story about those here in a little bit.